Liara shivered as the cold wind cut across the endless desert. Her four thin arms trembled, dragging her small body over the rough, rocky ground. She tried to crawl, but her legs would not move. They had never worked properly, never carried her like other children. From the moment she was born, she had depended on her mother. And now, her mother was gone. The sun of this alien world hung low in the sky, burning orange and purple streaks across the horizon. Liara had tried to follow her mother when she had left, but the distance had grown too wide, the ground too harsh. She remembered her mother's last words, cold and distant. "I cannot carry you anymore. You must survive alone." At first, Liara had not understood. How could a mother leave her own child? How could someone she loved with all her heart just disappear? Now, sitting alone on the rough sand, she understood all too well. She was completely alone. The silence around her was sharp like the edge of a knife. No voices, no laughter, no comforting hum of life. Just the wind and the distant shadows of strange alien rocks stretching endlessly across the desert. Her glow flickered weakly, a dim light from her body that usually made her visible in the dark. Now it barely shone at all, just like her hope. Liara's voice was soft, almost a whisper. "Mother, please, come back." She tried to move, dragging her body forward, but her weak arms and useless legs could barely lift her. Tears welled in her big violet eyes, streaming down her smooth skin. She had never cried so much before. It was not just the pain in her body. It was the hurt in her heart, the loneliness pressing down like a heavy stone. Hours passed. The suns of the twin stars began to sink lower, casting long shadows that danced across the dunes. Liara had called out to every passing creature she could see, but none stopped. She didn't even know if anyone existed in this empty desert. The thought made her stomach ache. She curled herself into a small ball, trying to make herself invisible as if hiding would make her safe. She remembered the games she had played with her mother, the small joys that had once made her feel loved. She remembered the warm hum of her mother's voice, the way she used to lift Liara with her strong arms and spin her in the air, making her laugh. Now those memories were cruel, reminders of a love that had abandoned her. Liara pressed her glowing hands against the cold sand, willing herself to move, to crawl, to reach something, anything. But the desert was merciless. Rocks scraped her skin, the wind burned her eyes, and her small body was exhausted. She wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Her voice was too weak. Her body was too weak. And her heart. Oh, her heart felt like it had been ripped from her chest. The night approached, cold and silent. The stars began to appear in the alien sky, twinkling far above, indifferent to her pain. Liara lay on the ground, shivering, tears still flowing, and whispered once more, "I just want someone to love me." Is that too much to ask? She closed her eyes, unsure if sleep would come or if she would simply fade into the darkness of this vast, empty world. Her glow dimmed further, a reflection of the hope slipping from her heart. She had been abandoned, left to survive alone. And for the first time, she realized something she had never felt before. The world could be cruel, even to the smallest, weakest beings. Yet deep inside, a tiny spark remained, a small, fragile hope that perhaps someone someday might find her. The wind carried a faint hum across the desert as Liara lay curled against a jagged rock. Her tiny body ached, her limbs numb from exhaustion. She had almost given up hope, thinking the world had truly forgotten her. But then a shadow passed over her glowing form, sharp against the dying light of the twin suns. Liara blinked up with wide violet eyes, unsure if she was seeing things. A figure approached, walking with purpose but careful, scanning the desert around them. It was tall, with skin pale and soft, unlike any creature she had ever seen. Strange clothes covered their body, and they carried a small pack that rattled with every step. Liara's glow flickered weakly, more from fear than hope. The figure knelt down at a safe distance, eyes gentle, voice soft. "Hey, are you okay?" they asked. Liara's small mouth opened, but no words came. Her voice had been weak for so long. She tried to shake her head, unsure if she should trust this being. Her mother had taught her caution, survival, mistrust. But something about this human. It felt different. The human reached closer, slowly, hands open. "I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Marcus," he said softly. "I saw you from far away. You're not alone anymore." Liara's tiny body shivered. Her heart raced, unsure whether to believe this strange, kind voice. She had been abandoned, left to suffer, and yet here was someone who had come to her. Could it really be true? Could someone actually care for her? Marcus crouched even lower, letting his eyes meet hers. I know you're scared, but I can help you. I can keep you safe. Slowly, Liara lifted one trembling hand and reached toward him. It was a small, fragile gesture, but it was the first time in days that she had moved toward someone. Marcus smiled, a warm, human smile, and gently scooped her into his arms. Her glowing body pressed lightly against his chest, her fear slowly mingling with cautious hope. Don't worry, Marcus whispered. I've got you. You're not alone anymore. Liara blinked, her tears glinting in the fading sunlight. For the first time since her mother had left, she felt safe. Her heart, so long heavy with loneliness, began to feel lighter. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to trust him. The desert stretched endlessly around them, but Marcus's ship was close by. He moved carefully, making sure she was comfortable, adjusting his hold to avoid hurting her. Every step he took was deliberate, showing patience and care. Liara felt warmth and security she had never known. She pressed her small face against his chest, letting herself feel the strange comfort of a human's heartbeat beneath her. Hours passed as they traveled back to the ship. Liara's glow pulsed faintly with emotion, fear, relief, and something new. Hope. Marcus never let go. He talked to her quietly, telling stories of other worlds, of humans who cared, of adventures they might have together. She listened, mesmerized, slowly realizing that maybe, just maybe, not all beings abandoned those in need. That night, inside the warm, dimly lit cabin of Marcus's ship, Liara finally spoke. Her voice was small, almost a whisper, but clear. I'm scared, she admitted. Marcus smiled and brushed her glowing hair back from her face. I know, he said softly. It's okay to be scared, but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. Liara's eyes shimmered with tears. She had been alone for so long, abandoned, afraid that no one could ever care for her. Yet, in this human's arms, she felt something she had never felt before. Love, kindness, and protection. She nestled closer to him, letting her arms rest lightly around his neck. For the first time, she whispered without fear, Thank you for finding me. Marcus held her gently, whispering, No, Liara, thank you for letting me. And in that quiet moment, floating above the endless desert in a tiny human ship, a fragile bond began to grow, one that would change both their lives forever. Days passed as Marcus guided his ship through the quiet stars, and Liara slowly began to adjust to life beyond the desert. She was still fragile, still unable to move her legs, but Marcus never treated her as weak. Instead, he showed her patience, kindness, and understanding, things she had not known existed. At first, Liara would hide when he approached. Even his gentle voice made her flinch. Every movement reminded her of abandonment. Every friendly gesture was foreign. Yet Marcus never gave up. He spoke softly, telling her stories of Earth and other planets he had explored. He described fields of green grass, oceans that stretched farther than the eye could see, and cities filled with laughter. Liara listened, her glowing eyes wide with wonder, and slowly, curiosity began to push aside fear. One evening, as the twin suns of her homeworld sank behind distant mountains, Marcus showed her how to eat again. Liara had always relied on her mother, but now she learned to feed herself with his gentle guidance. It's okay to take small steps, he said. You don't have to rush. You are learning. That's what matters. Liara tried to smile, the faintest curve of her lips showing her gratitude. For the first time, she realized that maybe, just maybe, she could trust someone other than her mother. Marcus had not left. He had not turned away. He had found her when everyone else had ignored her cries. Over the next few days, Marcus helped Liara discover small joys in her new world. He taught her to use her glowing arms to manipulate small objects, to roll herself on a makeshift wheeled board he had built, and to navigate the tiny cabin of the ship safely. Each tiny success made her heart beat faster. Each new ability made her feel stronger, but it was not only her body that was learning, it was her heart. Liara had never known trust, never believed that anyone could care for her without expecting something in return. She had been abandoned once, left to face a cruel world alone, but Marcus's unwavering kindness shattered that fear. Slowly, the walls around her heart began to crumble. One quiet night, she asked softly, Marcus, Why are you helping me? You don't have to. You don't even know me. Marcus looked at her, eyes full of warmth and honesty. I know, he said. But sometimes we see someone in need and we do what we can. You don't have to be alone, Liara. No one deserves to be abandoned. Yara's glowing arms trembled as she reached for his hand. I never thought anyone could care about me, she whispered. You're not alone anymore, Marcus replied, gently squeezing her hands. I'm here, and I'm staying. Those words felt like a balm on her soul. For the first time since her mother had left, Liara felt safe. Not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. She could let herself hope again. She could let herself feel love and trust that it would not be ripped away. Even as they floated through the endless darkness of space, Liara's tiny glowing body seemed brighter than ever. It was as if her heart, long dimmed by fear and abandonment, had found a light within itself, one that Marcus had helped ignite. By the time they reached the edge of a peaceful neutral planet where Marcus planned to rest, Liara was no longer trembling at every sound. She had learned to speak in short sentences, to smile, and to believe, even if just a little, that kindness could exist in the universe. Marcus watched her with pride, seeing the tiny creature he had rescued beginning to grow, not only in strength but in spirit. She was fragile, yes, but she was also brave. She had endured abandonment, despair, and loneliness, and yet she was still capable of trusting, still capable of hope. That night, as Liara rested in a soft bed that Marcus had carefully made for her, she whispered into the quiet cabin, Maybe the world isn't so cruel after all. And Marcus, sitting beside her, whispered back, No, Liara, not the world. Just the right people. And sometimes humans can be among them. Liara smiled, a small bright curve of her lips, feeling something she had never felt before, the fragile, growing warmth of trust. Life had started to feel safe for Liara. The little routines on Marcus's ship, eating, learning to use her arms, listening to stories, gave her a sense of belonging she had never known. She even laughed quietly to herself sometimes, a soft chime of sound that made Marcus smile. For the first time, she believed that perhaps life could be kind, but peace is fragile. One morning, while Marcus adjusted the ship's course near a neutral space station, an urgent message arrived. The screen flashed with red warnings, and a cold official voice crackled through the speakers. Liara of the Valian species has been located. She is to be returned immediately to her parent or legal guardian. Non-compliance will result in forceful retrieval. Liara froze, her glowing body dimming as panic surged through her. Her tiny hands trembled. She had thought she was safe. She had thought no one could take her again. But her home planet, her mother, they wanted her back. And she did not want to go. Marcus put a hand gently on her glowing shoulder. Liara, they're calling her planet. They want you returned. Liara shook her head, her violet eyes wide with terror. No, I don't want to go back to her. I don't want her. She left me. Her voice broke, trembling with all the hurt she had carried since the desert. Please, please don't make me go back. Marcus's heart ached. He knew what this meant. If he refused, they could track him, arrest him, or even use force. But he also knew something more important. Liara's trust, her fragile heart, could not be taken away again. He looked into her glowing eyes and saw all the fear, all the pain, all the years of abandonment. You're not going back, he said firmly, his voice steady, even though his mind raced with worry. Not if I can help it. I won't let anyone hurt you. I promise. Liara trembled in his arms, burying her face against him. She had never been spoken to like this before. Her mother had left her cold and distant. Other beings had ignored her or treated her like a burden. But Marcus, this human, he was different. He believed in her, even when the world didn't. The next few hours were tense. Marcus carefully plotted a route to a neutral, hidden sanctuary, where no one from Liara's planet could find them. Every blinking radar, every approaching ship, made Liara shrink in fear. "Will they find us?" she whispered. Marcus stroked her glowing hair gently. "Not if I can help it. You're safe with me. I'll make sure no one can take you." Liara clung to him, her small body trembling but trusting. For the first time in her life, she realized something powerful. She didn't have to face the universe alone. She had someone who would fight for her, who would protect her, who would care for her no matter what. That night, as the stars streaked past the ship's windows, Liara whispered softly, "I'm scared, but I trust you." Marcus smiled, holding her close. "That's all I need, Liara. Just trust. We'll face this together." And in that quiet, fragile moment, something shifted inside Liara. The fear of abandonment, the pain of being left behind was still there, but it was smaller now. She had someone to lean on. Someone who would never leave. Someone who saw her not as weak, but as important, as worthy of care. The conflict was far from over. Forces from her home planet would not give up easily. But Liara no longer felt helpless. She had Marcus, and together, they would find a way to survive, to escape and to protect the fragile hope that had finally begun to bloom inside her. Liara realized then that true courage was not in running alone. It was in trusting someone else enough to let them carry your fear, your pain, and your hope. And she was ready to face the universe, not as an abandoned girl, but as someone who had finally found a protector, a friend, and perhaps the closest thing to family she had ever known. The alarm blared in the cabin of Marcus's ship. Red lights flashed across the walls as radar signals indicated pursuit. Liara clutched his arm tightly, her glowing hands trembling with fear. She had never seen so many warning signals, so many ships moving fast in the void. Her heart raced, pounding like a drum inside her small chest. Marcus's face was tense but focused. He adjusted the ship's controls with practiced precision, weaving through asteroid fields and debris clouds. "Hold on, Liara," he said firmly, trying to keep his voice calm though his own heart raced. "We're not going to let them take you, not now, not ever." Liara pressed herself against him, trying to stay still as the ship jolted from evasive maneuvers. They will catch us," she whispered, her voice shaking. Marcus shook his head. "No, they won't. We're stronger than they think." He smiled at her briefly, trying to give her courage even though his mind was calculating every possible danger. "Together we can survive anything. Trust me." Liara's glowing arms wrapped around his neck, her small body trembling. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to feel safe. And for the first time in a long time, she did. Even though the universe was vast, even though countless enemies might be waiting, she felt a strange, powerful warmth inside her. She was not alone. Hours passed in tense silence, punctuated by the sounds of the ship's thrusters and occasional warnings from the control panels. Liara's mind drifted back to the desert where she had been abandoned, to the cold silence that had pressed against her for so long. She realized how far she had come. She had been alone, helpless, afraid, and now she was running through space, alive, with someone fighting for her. At one point, an enemy ship closed in too quickly. Marcus swerved sharply, narrowly avoiding a collision. Liara gasped, clutching him tighter. "Marcus, please be careful." "I'm always careful," he replied with a determined glint in his eyes. "I promised I wouldn't let anyone hurt you. That includes me taking risks. We'll make it." Liara nodded, trusting him completely. Her small legs could not carry her, her arms were still weak, but her spirit burned brighter than ever. She realized that bravery was not about running or fighting alone. Bravery was trusting someone else to fight with you, to protect you, to care for you. As the pursuit continued, Marcus piloted through a dense asteroid field using the jagged rocks for cover. Liara's heart pounded with every near miss, but she never let go of his arm. "I trust you," she whispered. Marcus's voice was steady. "I know you do. And that trust, it gives me strength too." After what felt like an eternity, they finally reached a quiet, neutral sector, far from the tracking signals of her home planet. Liara's body sagged with relief, her glow softening as her heartbeat slowed. She had survived. They had survived. Marcus set the ship down on a safe, hidden planet, a sanctuary for travelers and outcasts. Liara slid from his arms, still weak, still trembling, but smiling faintly. She looked at him with glowing eyes full of gratitude and something more. Hope. "You saved me," she whispered, her voice small but full of emotion. Marcus shook his head, gently brushing a stray lock of hair from her face. "No, Liara. You saved yourself. You just needed someone to believe in you. And you let me." Liara smiled, tears welling up but not falling. She realized then that courage was not always loud or fierce. Sometimes it was quiet. Sometimes it was letting yourself trust, letting someone else help you carry the weight of fear. As they looked out at the stars, safe for now, Liara's heart felt something it hadn't felt in years: freedom. She was still small, still fragile, but she had survived. And for the first time she understood that she was not alone in the universe, and that love, kindness, and trust could be found, even in the darkest of places. Together, human and alien, they had escaped. Together they had hope. And for Liara, that hope burned brighter than any star. The hidden planet was quiet, peaceful, and unlike anything Liara had ever known. Soft, glowing plants stretched across the terrain, and gentle streams reflected the light of distant suns. Marcus had chosen this place carefully, a sanctuary where no one could find them, a place where Liara could finally feel safe. Liara's tiny body moved slowly across the ship's ramp, her glowing arms outstretched for balance. Marcus had built her a small home, adapted perfectly for her needs. Ramps replaced stairs, soft cushions replaced hard chairs, and tiny robotic aids helped her move her legs. It was a home built for her, a place where she could grow without fear. For the first time in years, Liara laughed freely. Her laugh, light and musical, echoed through the cabin as she rolled along her new ramps, touching the glowing plants outside. The joy was simple but profound. She had survived, escaped, and now she could live. Marcus watched her with quiet pride. "Look at you, Liara," he said softly. "You're stronger than you realize. You've been through so much, and yet, here you are." Liara paused, her glowing eyes meeting his. I feel safe here," she whispered. "For the first time, I don't feel like I'm going to be left behind." "You won't be," Marcus replied firmly. "Not ever again. I promise." Days turned into weeks as Liara adjusted to her new life. She learned to navigate her small home with her robotic aids, reaching objects she had never been able to before. Marcus taught her to communicate more clearly, to express her thoughts and emotions. Each day brought small victories, and with each victory, Liara's confidence grew. One afternoon, Marcus brought her outside to explore. The world stretched out like a soft, safe dream. She moved slowly, her glowing arms balancing as she rolled along the soft ground, touching flowers that shimmered with alien light. She felt a connection to this world that she had never known, a sense of belonging that went beyond survival. "I never thought I could feel this way," Liara said quietly. "I never thought I could be happy." Marcus knelt beside her, his eyes warm. "Happiness is possible, Liara. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it takes the right people. But you deserve it, and now, you have it." Liara smiled, feeling a warmth inside her that was stronger than any fear she had ever known. Her past, the desert, the abandonment, the fear, was still a part of her. But it no longer controlled her. She had survived, she had trusted, and she had been loved in return. That night, as the twin moons rose over the peaceful horizon, Liara lay on a soft cushion beside Marcus. She reached out, touching his hand with all four glowing arms. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice small but steady. "For not leaving me. For showing me love." Marcus held her close, brushing her glowing hair back gently. "You're welcome, Liara. But remember, this isn't just about me helping you. You've been brave, stronger than anyone I know. You let yourself trust, and that's what made everything possible." Liara closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of safety and care for the first time in her life. The world could be cruel, yes, but it could also be beautiful. The universe was vast, but now she had a place in it, a home, a protector, and hope that she had never imagined. As she drifted into sleep under the soft light of the moons, she realized that she was no longer just a fragile alien girl left behind by her mother. She was a survivor. She was someone who had found love in the most unlikely place, and most importantly, she was ready to live, truly live, in a world that finally cared for her. For Liara, this new home was more than just a safe place. It was proof that the universe could be kind, that trust could be rewarded, and that even the smallest, weakest beings could find a family that would never abandon them. Years had passed since Liara was rescued from the desert. Her small body had grown stronger with the help of her robotic aids, and her glowing arms moved with confidence and skill. She had learned to navigate the world, not just survive it, but more importantly, she had learned to trust, to hope, and to feel love again. Marcus watched her from the doorway of their home, a soft smile on his face. Liara had become more than just a fragile alien girl. She had become a symbol of courage and resilience. She helped others too, teaching young travelers, injured creatures, and alien children who had been abandoned how to survive, how to trust, how to believe that kindness existed in the universe. Liara's violet eyes glowed brightly as she rolled along the soft paths of the sanctuary, helping a small, trembling alien child onto a wheeled board. She guided the little one carefully, her voice gentle but confident. "It's okay. You're safe now," she said. "I've been where you are. And I promise, things can get better." Marcus's heart swelled with pride. He had found her when she was alone, broken, abandoned, and now she was strong, helping others, glowing with life and hope. He had never seen anyone so brave, not in all his travels across the stars. That evening, as the twin moons rose over the peaceful sanctuary, Liara returned to their small home. She sat beside Marcus, resting her glowing arms on his lap. "I never thought I could feel this much," she whispered. "I never thought I could be happy, really happy." Marcus stroked her hair gently. "You earned it, Liara. Not because I saved you, but because you didn't give up. You trusted, you believed, and you chose to keep going even when the world tried to break you." Liara smiled, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You taught me something important. That love isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about the people who choose to stay, who fight for you, who believe in you." Marcus nodded. "Exactly. And that's what humans can be. Caring, brave, and kind. We can be the ones who don't abandon even when it's hard. That's what makes us human." Liara leaned against him, feeling the warmth and strength of his presence. She thought of the desert, of the cold silence of her mother leaving her behind. That part of her past still existed, but it no longer defined her. Now she defined herself. She had hope. She had love. She had Marcus. And she had the courage to face any challenge the universe might bring. The next day, Liara helped a group of young aliens learn to navigate the sanctuary, teaching them to use small aids and build confidence. She laughed freely, her voice a melody that echoed across the glowing fields. Marcus watched her, knowing that this little alien girl, once abandoned and broken, had become a beacon of hope for others. One quiet night, Liara sat beneath the stars with Marcus. "Do you think my mother will ever understand?" she asked softly. Marcus smiled, squeezing her hand. "Maybe, but it doesn't matter. You have a family now, one who chose you, one who believes in you, one who loves you. And that's all that matters." Liara gazed at the stars, feeling the vastness of the universe, but also feeling small, safe, and loved. She realized that her journey from the desert to the sanctuary, from abandonment to love, was more than survival. It was a testament to courage, resilience, and the power of human kindness. "I will help others," she said, determination in her voice, "just like you helped me. I will make sure no one feels abandoned the way I did." Marcus smiled, tears glimmering in his eyes. "That's the Liara I know. Brave, kind, and unstoppable." And under the soft glow of the twin moons, Liara realized something profound. The universe could be cruel, yes, but it could also be full of light. And sometimes that light came in the form of humans who chose to care, to protect, and to love. Liara had been abandoned once. But now she was home, and together, she and Marcus showed the galaxy what it truly meant to care for one another, for those in need, and for the fragile hope that lives in every heart. Her glow shone brighter than ever, a beacon in the darkness, a reminder that even the smallest, Weakest beings could rise, survive, and inspire the universe.